Hey, West Coast Johnny, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by. So I'm stopping my work on the Model A briefly for like a week because I need to build a patio cover framing, and it's 12 by 26. And it's going to be all made out of 1.5 inch square tubing, which is going to be all welded together. So I went and got the metal today, and I'm just kind of going to lay it out and just start making some 45 cuts. We're going to grind off the zinc because this is galvanized, and then we're going to go ahead and do some welding, and we're going to have a fan on, and we're going to be outside. And if my respirator will fit, if not, I have a mask I can wear under my welding helmet, because you don't want to breathe the fumes from grinding or welding around galvanized stuff. So let me show you what I'm doing. Follow me. So these aren't deburred. I had them cut because when I bought these, they were 24 feet long. And I had them cut in half so they're exactly 12 feet long. But they didn't sit there and file all the edges for me. So the first thing we're going to do when we get this over here stacked out of the car and all my over here is we're going to deburr everything. Before we do anything, we're just going to do some deburring. Okay, so it's the next day. I got my first frame together. It's going to be a big rectangle, exactly 6 feet wide, 72 inches by 12 feet long. And what I wanted to say is this. If you use one of these corner clamps, and they come in really nice ones, cheap ones. I saw a beautiful one. It was almost like 300 bucks, but I'm not a professional welder. I didn't want to get it. But you need much more than this when you're trying to make things square. You want to make sure that your pieces are level, because I'm on a driveway with the slope. So everything has to be perfectly level and perfectly square, like that. See that? That's exactly what you want. You want square. Everything is square. And then when we come over here to our level, if you can see that, it's pretty darn straight. So by doing that, it's going to really, really help keep things square when it's finished and it's up above my head with roof panels on it. I don't want it to look warped. So I'm making 5 of these, and it's probably going to be a long job. So this is only I'm still on the first one. And what I'm using today, I was going to use my High-NA little MIG welder, but then I decided I wanted to try out this Deco that I got. It's an inverter welding machine, which means it does stick welding like this. Stick welder. And this is the E6013 electrode, 1/8 inch. And what I do with this, I put the power on about 130, and it's just perfect because this is thin wall 16 gauge galvanized square tubing, 1.5 inch. So it's very thin. It's only not even 60 thousandths. So you have to be very careful how you weld. So what I'm doing, I'm welding, then I'm kind of grinding the welds off to see how they look. To see if I need to do more to them. I'm sure I do. If there's any low spots, I'm just gonna have to sand down. Okay, I got my machine set at 130 amps. 130 amps for this E6013 rod. The rod is 1/8 inch. Now, if I went with a smaller electrode rod like this one, this is also the E6013. This is only 1/8 of an inch, so I'm sorry, 1/16 of an inch. So I would have turned this down to 70, but and it would be perfect. But because we're thicker, we're going to go back to 130. That seemed to be the sweet spot. Okay. Well, it's not a pretty weld. It's kind of crooked, but it looks like it penetrated the metal pretty good. So if I can, when I sand this, if it comes off really nice, I'm just going to leave it. And I got to clean up the inside, and then I'm going to do the outside. Okay, well, here's my frame. It's done. I'll probably put a little piece of thin metal over here and weld it on just these little end caps. But what I wanted to show you was, where my welds were, I was able to sand it pretty smooth, and I put a little bit of primer on it because I didn't want that part to rust. Because this is all galvanized, but I removed the galvanized so I could weld. So I had to primer these areas. But they turned out okay, see, pretty smooth. And what I wanted to say was, you know, this wasn't really that hard. I think anybody can do it. As long as they have some tools, they could do this. What I did when I welded this, first thing I did, I ground the welds down with my angle grinder, with a grinding wheel on it, okay? That got the heavy stuff off. Then I got this little air disc sander, and with like 40 grit sandpaper, I got a whole bunch of different grits, but it's pretty rough, and it did actually make the welds look a lot better. And then the last thing I did was I sanded it with an electric sander with some I think that's 120 or 220, and it just made it really smooth so that I could put my primer over it. So that's about it. This one is done, and I need to make 4 of these all together, and then one that's only 2 feet long. So this was the first one, and I just wanted to say thanks for watching. Again, anybody can do this. It's just a lot of steps involved. And I use this little welder right here. This welder is amazing. It has a lot of built-in safety features, so you can't get electrocuted. It's lightweight. It weighs like 6 pounds. You can carry it up a ladder. It's great for thin metal and thin to mild steel. This is what you want right here. And it's just called the Deco Inverter Welding Machine. And been reading about it, so I wanted to get one. And I'll put a link for it in the description. So, all right, everybody, thanks for watching. The welding cart's doing great. Here's the car. It's just, I got to take a little break on it, but we're moving full steam ahead. So, thanks for watching. I want to thank all my new subscribers. If you have any questions or comments, or if you have any tips for me, that you see me do something and you want to offer your opinion, maybe you know a way to do something better than me. I'm not a professional at everything I do. I don't play one on TV either. But so I'm always open and willing to learn from people. So all right, everybody, I'll talk to you soon.